Hey, everybody. Share my screen. Boom. So you're coming in here as
What was that?
oh, just saying it just defaults to the other
Yeah.
the other account.
I'm not certain why either.
Right.
But flattering. Paul's a handsome dude, but we're not the same person, so it's a little
Right.
confusing.
Hey guys.
Hey Ben, how you doing?
I'm great, man. Doing very well. I'm just in a coffee shop, so I'm gonna be muted most of the time, but I'm here to answer any questions. I would have those market to help.
I would say
Beautiful.
Hey, everybody. Mark Smith here, and today we're going to do little updates and then open it up for Q&A as we always do. So, crypto market update, energy market update, a customer testimonial. And I want to make sure that I'm sharing this in the best way so that you guys can hear my audio. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to stop share, hit share again and make sure share sound. Boom. Optimize for video clip. I don't know about that, but anyway. All right, cool. All right. Well, anyway, maybe I won't do the customer testimonial. All right. Well, anyway, so today, today ETH is up over 10%. Let's see, since this was last week, actually. I should have said last week. Current price is 1828, so it's up 10%. Blackrock, a $10 trillion private equity company, assets under management, announced they will allow institutional investors to buy Bitcoin via Coinbase Institutional. So that's kind of big news. The institutions are coming in. SEC is going to go after Coinbase for unregistered tokens. That's not brand new news, but does make what we did here at ProveZero even more important. That is, ProveZero is officially registered with the SEC with a Reg D filing with our friends and family program. So, yeah, so if there's any questions about that, feel free to ask. In the energy market, big news. So there's this Machin-Schumer inflation bill passed the Senate. They're going to spend a bunch of money on that. But the main thing, well, there's going to be a bunch of money available for methane mitigation. Okay. And the fact that it passed the Senate, which is the more contentious of the two, 50-50, is probably going to pass the House. Okay. Which has way more of a majority. This tax that's included in there would be assessed on production and gathering of oil and natural gas and the transmission, storage, and exporting of natural gas using an initial cost factor of $900 per ton for 2024, $1,200 for 2025, and $1,500. Okay, so this is new. This is a carbon tax that's going to be assessed on oil and gas companies. Okay, so now they're going to be looking to measure this. It becomes even more important, right? Because if they just use the EPA formulas, which could be 10 times more than actual measurement, they're going to pay a lot of money, which was not previously the case, okay? Except for in Colorado. So this is a big deal, and this will impact ProveZero in a positive way. New Mexico just passed new emission regulations that started this week. So there, I actually have an episode coming out today. It should be posted on my LinkedIn if you want to get into more details about it. But and I go through the complete details with a regulation expert. But essentially, it's in between the new EPA regulations and Colorado. So let's just say Colorado is the toughest regulation on planet Earth. EPA is the new one, is harder than it is today. So it's somewhere in between. So it's we'll call them the second hardest in the US now. They do have a new tank monitoring rule, which we're looking into, because tanks are probably one of the number one emission sources. Every time that thief hatch gets opened, a couple tons of emissions come out. So, having a tank monitoring rule, which says you can't open the thief hatch, requires a instrumentation like what we have as part of Clean Connect. So our CDPHE AIM certification is being reviewed by the EPA. So when we do make the public announcement about our AIM certification, it will come along with an EPA review. Therefore, we're going to be the only government certified solution available, which is a cool thing. I did want to play this and see if you can hear
The last thing a lot about Clean Connect is seeing is believing. So
now, can people hear that?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Cool.
Yeah, we can hear it. Yep.
Nice.
It's not just looking at numbers on a spreadsheet. It's not just a reporting PDF. When you start to use the Clean Connect system, you can view what is currently happening at your operations, and I will tell you that has moved the most thought within my own company here, is seeing the emissions occur, seeing the inefficiencies, and having a mechanism in the background quantifying those is very eye-opening to other divisions within the oil and gas industry. So it really does bring together how environmental and operations both can work simultaneously to make a better product.
So that is just a little sneak peek of a case study that's coming out, and it lasts actually a lot longer than that, but he goes through each part of this and even talks about performance certificates and whatnot. So that'll be coming out soon. Has to go through an approval process by Civitas. But for those who don't know, Civitas is one of the largest producers in Colorado. They were created, the money behind them, they're ESG investors that are behind them. They actually, they bought up 5 different operators in Colorado and rolled them up into Civitas. So anyway, just wanted to let you know about that. And because it's what happens in the oil and gas business, that we'll have a lot of clients and then they don't let us do testimonies. And it's, by the way, typical. Okay, they just want to be off the radar, but we're starting to get some traction here where they can do testimonies, and that's going to be really, really good. One of the things I wanted to mention is we are working with now kind of setting the bar. What happened is EDF, Environmental Defense Fund, they're a very influential environmental group, and they put out this article, which I did a podcast on a while back. So it's a couple podcasts ago if you want to see the details of this. But they said, hey, this is the criteria you need to meet in order to actually be differentiated gas or certified gas or responsibly sourced gas, whatever you call it. We'll just call it differentiated gas, which is the thing. So now we're, talking to other folks like at S&P to say, hey, this is the new criteria we're going for. Okay. So it needs to meet regulatory requirements. So the fact that we can Clean Connect can meet Quado, EPA Quado BC, the future, and getting the regulation 7 requirements is a big deal. If you can't meet the regulatory requirements, what EDF is saying is it's not even certified gas. Okay. Meets OGMP 2.0 level 5, so it can measure gas at the source and site level. Okay, we can do both of those. Must be third-party verified. We are a third-party verifier. Plus, Clean Connect will be the only government certified solution. So that's a case where the verifiers are being verified. Okay. And we'll be the only one that is a verifier that's verified, so to speak. The methane intensity measured, not emission factors. So we use our computer vision to autonomously measure, and then certification needs to include measured site, no cherry picking. So a lot of the other people that are doing this certification, what they'll do is they'll say, well, if half your sites are measured and the other half aren't, we'll certify all of them. And that's not what we do. The only way to get certified is to have our gear on each and every site. Okay. So we're the only one that actually meets all 5 of EDF's criteria. Some of the competition out there, they do 1. They're third-party verified. But then people are asking the question, well, who verified the verifiers? Nobody. They just declare themselves to be accurate, whereas we actually went through a government certification process and we got that. So we're really the only one that can meet all 5. And we are going to set a new bar and really start to promote this new differentiated bar, which will then make our performance certificates quite unique and valuable. So anyway, I'll leave it there and stop the share and open it up for questions. If anybody's wants to ask a question. Anything coming from the panelists here? You want to chime in?
Yeah, there's a lot of the terminology that I'm still, beginning to understand, and I'm sort of on Google over here as well, looking at what CDPHE, and that's the Colorado.
Yeah, that's the Colorado, and I could just put in parentheses when I use it, just Colorado. Yeah, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment.
Gotcha.
Right. So there's a bunch of acronyms in this energy space, and that's specific to Colorado, but they're like the Colorado Authority. But as part of the AIM process, they actually have the EPA on as part of the process. So they do it and they say, we authorize this in Colorado. Then they review it. I'm actually waiting. They actually met with the EPA yesterday, and I don't know what the results were. So I'm anxiously awaiting for the email from the regulators in Colorado to say, hey, what do they think?
Yeah. And that was, you said Civitas, they have, what is it exactly that they are implementing right now in their sites?
Everything that we have, the full bundles. So, which includes the leak detection and quantification, tank monitoring, gate guard, PPE detection, all those different computer vision models that we do, that we've talked about. So when you look at the replay that I send out, along with the AMA replays, go back 1 or 2 videos and you're going to see overview of Clean Connect for the energy executives. You watch that, it's 10 minutes long. It will fill in exactly what we do. Okay. We are talking to them next week. We met with them last week, like the whole crew. They're reviewing our stuff, and if they move ahead, they can do quite a few sites. Let's put it that way.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I'm sure that it is difficult to get people to give testimonials. A lot of the space is sort of just head down, work, let's get it done.
Here's the deal. Up till recently, up till the whole ESG movement, a lot of people didn't want to get out there and say, here's what I'm doing for to be environmental compliant. The fear was, I'm now creating a new bar that now the regulators will say, oh, you can do that? Great. Well, I'm going to make you do that. Right. In other words, go above and beyond the regulations. But now with the ESG out there, they're needing to, and the fact that the SEC is requiring them to do climate risk reporting, okay, and Civitas is a publicly traded company. Now they're having to come out with measured, things to say, hey, this is what we're doing. And their parent company, or the money behind them, Kimmeridge, actually came out last week, and I should link to that video too, where the director said, we're going to be net zero by 2030. Okay, so they've literally thrown the gauntlet down for other energy companies. Most of them said, hey, we'll be net zero by 2050. So they've decided to shave it back 20 years. I have no idea how they're going to do it, but then that's by doing that, they're going to need systems like ours, or there's no chance. So anyway,
Mark, do you want to maybe jump in and talk about how ProveZero, in conjunction with what you just showed us in the last slide, provides value and why it is a needed thing?
okay, there was a lot of noise behind that question, so I'm not.
I think he was asking
Sorry,
how Clean Connect and ProveZero are going to work in tandem to provide value to the people that are using the product.
Right. And I cover that in the first couple of AMAs, but essentially, okay, so you have the Clean Connect system running, it produces data. That data gets put into a format that says, it creates an energy certificate, so to speak. Some of the larger energy, so if you're a really large energy producer, you will negotiate with your buyers and say, the buyers say, hey, I need your gas to be certified. Oh, okay, well, we got this third-party certifier, Clean Connect, and here's their process. Great, I'll take that. So it's a bilateral agreement. Buyers say, hey, I'll pay a percent more premium for that gas. Some of the medium to smaller ones, they don't have bilateral agreements. So they say, hey, I want to create something, have the certificate. So the certificate by itself has value, okay, to them. But if we can then take that certificate, the data that's in it, and then automatically create the MPC, the Standard & Poor's Methane Performance Certificate, that becomes another asset that they can trade on the expansive exchange. So what's happening is that performance certificates are yet another they're becoming another commodity. And again, big picture, there's a regulated market and a they call it voluntary or validated market. Regulated markets like the EU, it's required by law. You have to do cap and trade. California is moving into that. Canada is moving into the regulated market, saying you got to do it. You have no choice. Up till now, there's been no cap and trade in the US, but there's turning into be a carbon tax that's going to be instituted on the oil and gas companies. So, we could, if we want, as people come up with questions, which we threw out there the last time, I can do just sort of 101 sessions on energy. But again, I have these videos sitting in the replay, that Vimeo type deal that talks about all that stuff.
And for those listening, all those links are available on the LinkedIn as well as in the Discord. So Bill made a little statement here. It's not quite a question, but he just says he just wants us to know that they appreciate all the hard work and the weekly updates. He's just giving a little thank you there.
Okay, cool.
Much appreciated.
I did put a link in the chat. That's vimeo.com/showcase/ProveZero. It's the recordings of the AMA plus some other overview videos that provide some depth to it.
I think that only goes to us for some reason.
Chat?
Yeah, it's just to hosts and panelists there.
Oh, wait, let me see here. Wait. I'll change it to everyone. Okay. All right, now it should go to everyone. Okay, cool.
Beautiful.
So any other questions? There's some other stuff going on with the dev team, and we're doing a bunch of research and competitive analysis and looking at different technologies to make it seamless for example, operators to get involved, which I think we figured out a way to do that. They won't even know. Essentially, they'll come in, these certificates will be generated, they'll be able to see them, like technically they're Web3 kind of NFTs sitting on the blockchain, and they can look at them and use them and stuff like that, but they won't have to go through any of the complicated stuff to get them created. There seems to be some great mechanisms now to make that happen, which we're pretty excited about.
On the sort of implementation side of things, how long does it take to set a site up with the Clean Connect AI and everything that would need
right now. It's about 90 days, and part of that is supply chain issues. People order it, and you're going through, and these are oil and gas companies, so it does take longer to negotiate agreements, stuff like that. But yeah, it's about 90 days to go get the equipment, set it up and stuff. We are working on a way to shorten that cycle down to 30 days. And so we're currently in the process of doing a pilot, again, with Triple Crown. They've been on these things before, to produce the data and then stick it in the right format and be able to show the S&P or MPC type deal. They are also working on some new, so in other words, we can generate the methane performance certificate.
And this might be a question that you don't necessarily have the answer to, but when you say they can interact with the NFT side of things, that certificate that's generated, do we know exactly what that'll look like? Is it going to look like a string of numbers that indicate sort of that methane output, or what?
Yeah, I would say it's going to look better than that. I mean, we can create some sort of image that looks like a certificate that has the key numbers on it, like date, throughput, whatever. And we're looking at what denomination those NFTs will have. If they trade in the same, currently the way energy is traded, natural gas on the market is traded in, it's called like million BTUs or MMBTUs. So currently, like on expansive, each MPC equals an MMBTU, and then they roll up to 2,500 as a contract. So when you sell it as a commodity on the energy commodity index, the actual energy itself, its contracts are 2,500 MMBTUs. So if we created something in those denominations, right, then a couple things happen. One, the energy buyers say, well, yeah, that's the way we think of energy in these contracts of 2,500 MMBTUs. Okay. And and then it will allow us to record the provenance, fancy word of saying, where did it come from? Okay. It came from here at this time with this volume at this methane intensity. Okay. So that's how it'll look, right? They'll be able to look at their energy certificates. So they may want them in bigger certificates. The one thing is they reconcile all that stuff every month on a monthly basis. So we may have to have a different, something that rolls up to a month. The more we do this in quantities and units of measure that the energy guys are used to, the more there's less, it feels more normal to them. All right. Any other questions out there? All right. Well, if there's any, like I said, between now and then, feel free to, to reach out and, ask your question, and, we can do a little research in the meantime and get going on that kind of stuff. But, by the time, the reason I'm giving you this background on the crypto market and, which we watch, is we're looking for, if, for example, Ethereum keeps going up at that rate, at some point it crosses over the FOMO index, the fear of missing out kind of pops back, and people say, oh crap, I got to get back in. That creates the overall market environment that you're looking for to launch the token. Number two, if you've got some positive case studies coming out of people who are using your technology, you're getting results, where third parties are saying, yeah, this is legit, like the S&P or something like that. All good, right? You get a couple of those momentums going, right? That would just create more value for this thing.
Sounds great. I think the team's happy to be here. Team's looking forward to it. And along the line of questions, guys, Mark dropped his email into the chat, and feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn or on Discord. Somebody will get back to you. We're very happy and ready and willing to help you all understand this as myself. I understand more along the way.
But one of the things, and we may do something next week where, like I know Chase, you know, and Ben's team from Elevate, they did a big competitive analysis looking out there. A lot of the other projects where the carbon thing kind of came and went. And as I did a quick look, I can see why. One of the unique things that we have in this project versus any other carbon project is we have the actual data. All of them relied on somebody else, you know, creating a valid carbon credit, sticking it into a registry, and then they just essentially wrapped a token around it. Okay. But if if there's already supply and demand, or there's already demand to sell it on something like the expansive exchange, what's the point? If they already have buyers available, why wrap it in another, why add another layer to it? So what's different is we're actually producing the data, right? We're not going and we are creating this methane performance certificate. And that's unique amongst all the other projects are not certifying anybody. They relied on some other person to certify. So yeah, that makes us unique. Having the data and being the original source of the data allows you to set the direction for what you want to go and who you want to partner with and everything else. Okay. If no more questions, I'll end this session. And again, I look forward to your questions on future AMAs.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.